The M2 Pro and M2 Max, the world's most powerful and efficient chip for a pro laptop. MacBook Pro tackles demanding tasks, like effects rendering, which is up to 6x faster than the fastest Intel-based MacBook Pro, and color grading, which is up to 2x faster. Building on the unprecedented power efficiency of Apple Silicon, battery life on MacBook Pro is now up to 22 hours, the longest battery life ever in a Mac. 2. For enhanced connectivity, the new MacBook Pro supports Wi-Fi 6E.
Percent of the sRGB color gamut and covers 83% of the more demanding DCI-P3 color space. The Dell XPS 15 hit a slightly higher 122% and 87%. There's one thing I can say for sure: whatever you throw at the MacBook Pro 14-inch, this laptop can handle it with ease, whether you opt for the M2 Pro model or M2 Max version. Go for the M2 Max if you need more graphics might or if you need more oomph for video projects. On Geekbench 5, which measures overall performance, the MacBook Pro 14-inch is in a league of its own. The M2 Pro version we tested notched a single-core score of 1941, and the M2 Max version hit a similar 1926. Both models cleared 14,900 on the multi-core test. The Dell XPS 15 and HP EliteBook 840G9 with 12th Gen Core i7 chips were both well behind. So what about other MacBooks? Overall, the MacBook Pro 14-inch is about 9% faster in single-core performance versus the previous model, and 17% faster in multi-core. So how about transcoding video? The MacBook Pro 14-inch wipes the floor with the competition and is notably faster than the previous M1 Pro MacBook. For this test, we used the Handbrake app to transcode a 6.5 gigabit 4K video to 1080p. The new MacBook Pro 2023 took just 4 minutes and 3 seconds. The Dell XPS 15 was over a minute and a half slower, and the HP EliteBook was nearly 3 minutes behind. The MacBook Pro M1 Pro needed 4 minutes and 51 seconds, and the MacBook Pro 13-inch took nearly 7 minutes. So this new laptop is clearly more pro. If you are big into photo editing, the MacBook Pro 14-inch will not disappoint. We use the Puget Bench Photoshop test, which applies a series of filters and other adjustments to a series of high-res photographs. The MacBook Pro 2023 scored 988 with the M2 Pro chip and 1199 with the M2 Max. The test also times how long each system takes, and the MacBook Pro 14-inch M2 Pro finished in 420. The M2 Max version was even faster at 357. The Dell XPS 15 and HP EliteBook 840G9 were not too far behind in terms of overall score, but they both took over 5 minutes. The previous M1 Pro MacBook Pro scored a much lower 806. The MacBook Pro 14-inch offers a wide range of graphics options, starting with a 16-core GPU. We tested the 19-core GPU inside the M2 Pro chip and the 38-core GPU from the M2 Max, and there's definitely a difference in terms of benchmark performance. On 3D Mark Wildlife Unlimited, the MacBook Pro M2 Pro scored 287 frames per second. The M2 Max chip nearly doubled those results. Last year's M1 MacBook Pro hit 230 FPS, so that's a pretty big jump of about 20% versus the M2 Pro. While Apple still has a long way to go in terms of gaming, the new MacBook Pro 14-inch is capable of delivering solid frame rates. Take Rise of the Tomb Raider. The M2 MacBook Pro hit 48 frames per second at 1920 by 1200 resolution compared to 39 frames per second for the 2021 M1 Pro. However, neither system could reach a playable 30 FPS when we cranked up the resolution. The M2 Max version did just that, reaching 34 frames per second and over 70 FPS at the lower resolution. I also had a chance to play Resident Evil Village, which is one of the titles that's been optimized for Apple's Metal Graphics engine. The level of detail was stunningly gory, especially when I got a chunk of my hand bitten off. Even with multiple monsters on screen at once, the MacBook Pro 14-inch M2 Max delivered smooth action with very little stuttering. If you're looking for long battery life, you've come to the right place. On the Tom's Guide battery life test, which involves continuous web surfing at 150 nits of screen brightness, the MacBook Pro 14-inch M2 Pro lasted an epic 14 hours and 2 minutes. That's just a few minutes shy of the MacBook Pro M1, which lasted 1408. The MacBook Pro M2 Max didn't last quite as long, but 12 hours and 51 minutes is nothing to sneeze at when you have that kind of power under the hood. The Dell XPS 15 only endured for a bit over 10 hours, but the 13-inch MacBook Pro M2 is still the champ with over 18 hours of runtime.